Every meal begins here. Long before it reaches your plate, it starts in the hand of a farmer. Every day, millions of farmers wake up hoping months of hard work will finally pay off. But for many, the biggest challenge isn't growing food, it's getting someone to buy it. Take a look at these tomatoes. They are fresh, they are nutritious, and they are perfectly safe to eat. But many of them will never leave the farm. Why? Because we have been taught that the food has to look perfect. A tomato that is slightly misshapen, a banana with a few black spots. They are often rejected, not because they are bad, but because they don't meet cosmetic expectations. The problem doesn't stop there. Sometimes farmers produce more than the market can absorb. When the supply is high and the demand is low, prices can crash overnight. Imagine spending months growing your crop, only to discover that selling would earn less than it costs to transport. In many parts of India, transport is expensive. Fuel cost, labor, packing, and market fees all add up. And if the selling price falls below those costs, farmers are left with the impossible choice: harvest the crop and lose the money, or leave it behind. Then there is another challenge: keeping food fresh. Fruits and vegetables begin losing quality the moment they are harvested. Without reliable cold storage or refrigerated transport, they spoil quickly, especially during Indian hot summers. The result? Food is lost before it even begins its journey. India is world's largest producers of fruits and vegetables, yet a significant share is lost before reaching consumers. 45% of the food loss occur during the production stage. And whatever survives the farm faces another journey filled with obstacles, because getting food from a field to your plate is far more complicated than most of us realize. When the tomatoes finally leave the farm, their journey just begins. These tomatoes are transported across hundreds of kilometers in the peak of an Indian summer. Unlike many developed supply chains, a large portion of India's fresh produce travel without refrigerated transport. Under the scorching sun, every passing hour reduces freshness. Every delay brings the produce one step closer to spoiling. And it's not just the heat. Rough roads, long traffic jams, unexpected breakdowns. Even a single day of delay can mean the difference between fresh produce and food that no one wants to buy. Fruits and vegetables are incredibly delicate. Every bump in the road bruises them. Every crushed box lower their value. By the time they reach the market, they may still be perfectly edible, but they no longer look fresh enough to fetch a good price. And when thousands of trucks arrive at the same wholesale market, another problem begins. Supply often arrives faster than it can be sold. Produce waits for hours, sometimes even days, under the open sky. Without proper storage, freshness disappears quickly. What couldn't be sold yesterday becomes even harder to sell today. Slowly, sacks that one carried perfectly good food begins to rot. Not because the food wasn't edible, because it couldn't sell.
ಆಂಟಿ ನಿಮ್ಮ ಹೆಸರೇನು?
ಮಂಜುಳಾ. ವ್ಯಾಪಾರ ಆದ್ರೆ ಕಾಸು, ವ್ಯಾಪಾರ ಆಗಿಲ್ಲ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಲಾಸ್. ಅಂದ್ರೆ 8 ಗಂಟೆ ರಾತ್ರಿ 8 ಗಂಟೆ 9 ಗಂಟೆವರೆಗೂ ಇರ್ತೀವಿ.
ಅದೆಲ್ಲ ಐದಾ?
ಒಂದು 2 ಖಾಲಿ ಆಗಿದೆ. ಒಂದು 10 ಕಟ್ಟು ತಗೊಬಂದ, ಒಂದು 20 ಕಟ್ಟು ತಗೊಂಬಂದ್ರೆ 5-6 ಕಟ್ಟು ಉಳಿಯುತ್ತೆ. ಅದು ವೇಸ್ಟ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ.
ಒಂದು 6 ಕಟ್ಟು ಡೈಲಿ ನಿಮಗೆ ವೇಸ್ಟ್.
10 ಕಟ್ಟೆ ಒಂದೊಂದು ದಿವಸ ವ್ಯಾಪಾರ ಆದ್ರೆ ಪರವಾಗಿಲ್ಲ, ವ್ಯಾಪಾರ ಆಗಿಲ್ಲ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಅದೆಲ್ಲ ಹಂಗೆ ಉಳಿಯುತ್ತೆ.
ನಮ್ಮ ಹೆಸರು ಮುನಿಲಕ್ಷ್ಮಿ. ನಾವು ಒಂದು 28 ವರ್ಷದಿಂದ ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಿ.
28 ವರ್ಷದಿಂದ ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಿ.
ಹೋಗುತ್ತೆ ಮಿನಿಮಮ್ ಒಂದು 20 ಕಟ್ 30 ಕಟ್ ಹೋಗುತ್ತೆ ಅಷ್ಟೇ. ಇರುತ್ತೆ ಒಂದು 1000 ಕಟ್ಟೆ ಇರುತ್ತೆ.
ಹೌದಾ?
20 50 ಒಂದೊಂದು ದಿವಸ ಚೆನ್ನಾಗಿಲ್ಲ ಅಂದ್ರೆ 100.
Around 16% of the food loss occurs during transportation and logistics. But even if the food survives the farm and survives the journey, its battle isn't over yet, because next it will enter the marketplace, where appearance often matters more than the quality. Now the food is surviving its journey, reaches the shelves. You would think the hardest part is over, But for many fruits and vegetables, this is where another kind of filtering begins. As a customer, we rarely buy food with our stomachs, we buy with our eyes. We reach for the brightest and the smoothest tomato, the perfectly yellow banana. Take this banana for example. It has a brown spot. Nutritionally, it's almost identical to the one beside it. It tastes the same. It's completely safe to eat, but the chances are most of us would leave it behind. Multiply that decision by thousands of customers across thousands of stores every single day. Predicting demands is another challenge for the retailers. If the stock is less, the customer walks away. Stock too much, edible food never finds a buyer. That's why supermarket shelves often look full, even just before closing. It's not just because everything will be sold out, it's because abundance sells. Around 5% of the food waste occur at the retail stage. Coming on to where the most visible waste happens, restaurants, cafes, and bakeries, where perfectly cooked meals often have just one thing missing: a customer. Every day, restaurants prepare for one thing: uncertainty. Will 50 people walk in or 150? To make sure customer never hear the words, "Sorry, we are sold out," restaurants often prepare more food than they might actually sell. But as the day comes to an end, a different question begins to emerge. What happens to everything that wasn't ordered? Every evening, across thousands of restaurants, cafes, and bakeries, perfectly good food is left behind. It sounds simple, but for the most businesses, it isn't. Then comes another question: why not donate it? Many restaurant owners genuinely want to, but donation isn't always as straightforward as it seems. Coordinating and finding organizations that can collect food on time, maintaining food safety, and complying with regulations. All of this has to happen within a very small window before the food is no longer suitable to serve. And perhaps the hardest question of all: why not simply cook less? Because restaurants don't know the future. A sudden rainstorm, a cancelled reservation, a cricket match, a festival, any of these can change customer demand in a matter of hours.
7 to 8 ಪೀಸ್ ಬೇಕು ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಿ. ಸೆಲ್ಫ್ ಲೈಫ್ 4 to 5 days ಇರುತ್ತೆ. 4 days 5 days ಆದಮೇಲೆ ಡೇಟಾ ಇರುತ್ತೆ ಸರ್. ಯಾವ ರಿಸೀವ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ವಿ ಅಂತ ಡೇಟಾ ಇರುತ್ತೆ. 4 to 5 days ಆದಮೇಲೆ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪೈರಿ ಆದಮೇಲೆ ನಾವು ದಂಪು ಪೆಂಟ್ ವೇಸ್ಟ್ ಎಲ್ಲ ಆಗಿಬಿಟ್ಟು ಆಚೆ ಹಾಕ್ತೀವಿ. ಬೆಳಿಗ್ಗೆ ಬಂದು ಕ್ಲಿಯರ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಿ. ಮತ್ತು ಡೇಟಾ ಇರುತ್ತೆ ಯಾವ ರಿಸೀವ್ ಆದಮೇಲೆ ಅಂತ. ಸೆಲ್ಫ್ ಲೈಫ್ 4 to 5 days ಇರುತ್ತೆ. ಸೆಲ್ಫ್ ಲೈಫ್ ಆದಮೇಲೆ ನಾವು ಬಂದು
People running these businesses aren't trying to waste food, they are trying to avoid disappointing customers. They are trying to protect their reputation. They're trying to keep their businesses alive, and yet, at the end of every night, perfectly good food still finds its way into the bin. It's easy to point fingers at restaurants, but the story doesn't end here, because one of the biggest contributors to the food waste is at our home. It's easy to blame restaurants, supermarkets, and farmers, but what if one of the biggest sources of food waste was at our home? Almost everyone has done it. Cooking a bit extra, ordering more than we can finish, bringing extra fruits and veggies only to end up throwing some a week later. It doesn't happen because we are careless. Lives get busy, plans change, appetites change, and before we know it, the food that was perfectly good yesterday ends up in the bin today. Sometimes it's the last spoon of rice, the extra veggies. One meal may not seem like much, but when millions of households make similar decisions every single day, the impact becomes enormous. Around 23% of food waste occurs at household level. And this isn't just India's story. According to UNEP Food Waste Index, households are responsible for a significant share of food waste across the world. Whether it's Mumbai, Bangalore, London, or New York, the truth is, food waste doesn't begin with one bad decision. It happens through hundreds of small moments that seems insignificant on their own, but together they become one of the biggest hidden challenges of our time. And by now, you might be wondering how much we are actually losing. But here's what many people don't realize. Food waste doesn't just happen in our homes. According to WRI India, it happens throughout the entire food system, from farms and transportation to warehouses, retailers, restaurants, and finally our kitchens. Every stage presents another opportunity for perfectly edible food to be lost before it ever feeds someone. And the cost goes far beyond the environment. Every kilogram of food that is wasted still has to be grown, transported, cooled, stored, and paid for. Those costs don't disappear. They eventually make their way into the price all of us pay. In fact, India's retail inflation rose to 4.38% in June 2026, with food prices remaining one of the biggest contributors, while many factors influence inflation. Wasting food only puts additional pressure on an already strained food system. Then there's what happens after food is thrown away. Most people think it simply disappears. It doesn't. When food ends up in landfills, it decomposes and releases greenhouse gases that contributes to climate change. So the same meal that consumed valuable water, fuel, electricity, and human efforts end up harming the environment as well. The tragedy isn't that we don't produce enough food. The tragedy is that so much of food we have already worked so hard to produce never gets the chance to nourish anyone. Every wasted meal represents a broken journey, a journey that began with hope and ended in a bin. But what if the journey didn't have to end there? Changing this story won't happen because of one invention, one company, or one government policy. It will happen when every part of the food system becomes just a little smarter. It starts at the source. Better cold storage can prevent fresh produce from spoiling before it even reaches the market. Smarter logistics and faster transportation can reduce delays, while better demand forecasting helps farmer and distributor produce closer to what people actually need instead of what they hope to sell. Governments also have an important role to play. Stronger food recovery policies and easier donation systems can help perfectly edible surplus food reach communities instead of landfills. Because sometimes the biggest challenge isn't producing enough food, it's making sure that the food we have already produced actually reaches people. Businesses can make an equally significant difference. According to Equinox Labs, poor inventory management causes many food businesses to lose 10 to 15% of their inventory every month, while poor inventory practices can increase food costs by as much as 15 to 20%. That's not just food being wasted, it's revenue disappearing. Simple improvements like tracking inventory more accurately, rotating stocks properly, forecasting demands, preparing small batches when necessary, and offering discounts towards the end of the day can dramatically reduce waste while improving profitability. Today, technology makes this even easier. Instead of throwing away perfectly good meals simply because closing time has arrived, restaurants can instantly connect with the customer who are happy to buy those meals at lower price. Businesses recover value, customer saves money, and perfectly good food gets eaten instead of wasted. But perhaps the most powerful change begins at home. Before buying groceries, check what's already in your kitchen. Plan meals instead of shopping impulsively. Freeze leftovers before they spoil. Learn the difference between a best before date, which usually refers to quality, and a use by date, which relates to food safety. Understanding that simple distinction can prevent countless meals from being thrown away unnecessarily. And whenever possible, support businesses that are actively trying to reduce food waste. Every purchase we make sends a message about the kind of food system we want to build. Food waste doesn't begin in the kitchen, and it won't end there either. It will take farmers growing food more efficiently, businesses managing it more responsibly, government creating better systems, communities recovering surplus food, and ordinary people making slightly better choices every day. Because every meal we save is more than just food. It's water saved, fuel saved, carbon emission avoided, money saved for businesses, months of farmers' hard work respected, and one less meal ending up where it never belonged. Every meal has a story. Let's make sure it ends on a plate, not in a bin.